tax. There is no estate tax on farmers. So when a parent leaves their farm, because again, a lot of these...
The American farmer's existential crisis, a confluence of catastrophes and the erosion of a way of life. American agriculture is standing on the precipice of an unprecedented and potentially catastrophic collapse, a profound crisis so deep-seated that a growing number of farmers and industry experts believe widespread financial ruin is an inevitable outcome without the immediate intervention of a massive taxpayer-funded bailout. This is not merely an unfortunate or difficult year. It is the culmination of decades of systemic issues. It is a perfect storm composed of long-standing economic fragilities, the escalating force of intensified environmental disasters, and a series of deliberate and destructive political decisions that have systematically dismantled the very support systems upon which these food producers have come to rely. The confluence of these profoundly negative factors has created a multifaceted, existential threat not only to the nation's food producers, but also to the health and sustainability of the rural communities they are the foundation and anchor of. For a generation or more, the American family farm has been engaged in a relentless, uphill battle against overwhelming and often insurmountable odds. The very landscape of modern agriculture has been fundamentally reshaped by a process of aggressive corporate consolidation, a trend where a diminishing handful of giant, multinational companies have managed to gain an almost total stranglehold on the entire agricultural supply chain. These powerful corporations now effectively dictate the prices of almost every essential input, from the seeds and fertilizers farmers must purchase to the prices they receive for the final products they sell. This market dominance has squeezed profit margins to a point that is completely unsustainable for most independent operations. This leaves small and medium-sized farms with virtually no power to negotiate fair and equitable prices, forcing them to operate on a financial razor's edge where one bad season can lead to bankruptcy. Compounding this immense pressure is the extreme and unpredictable volatility of global commodity markets. The prices for essential crops like corn, soybeans, and wheat can swing wildly and without warning, making long-term financial planning and risk management nearly impossible. This leaves farmers incredibly vulnerable to the smallest policy shift or a single bad season. These deep-seated, underlying vulnerabilities have created a tinderbox, and the events of recent months have provided the devastating spark that threatens to ignite it all. A three-front war: climate, trade, and policy assault on an industry. The current crisis facing American agriculture is a multifaceted assault, a relentless three-front war where each element compounds and exacerbates the others, creating a feedback loop of economic and environmental devastation. The relentless assault of the climate crisis. Climate change is no longer a theoretical or distant concern for farmers. It is a destructive and immediate reality they must confront every single day. Unprecedented, chaotic, and increasingly violent weather patterns are causing catastrophic and widespread damage. Across the Midwest and in key agricultural regions like Texas, record-breaking rainfall and extensive flooding have submerged millions of acres of fertile farmland, resulting in billions of dollars in irretrievable crop losses. In other areas, farmers are grappling with increasingly severe and prolonged droughts and crippling heat waves, turning farming into a high-stakes gamble against powerful, chaotic forces they cannot possibly control. The story of Travis Johnson, a farmer who lost over 1,000 acres of his crops after a year's worth of rain fell in just 48 hours, is a powerful and heart-wrenching illustration of this terrifying new normal. These extreme weather events are not isolated or anomalous incidents. They are becoming the new standard. Critically, the federal programs and safety nets designed to help farmers manage these risks have been critically weakened, leaving them exposed and vulnerable to forces beyond their control. The self-inflicted wounds of a chaotic trade war. The second devastating blow comes directly from the administration's aggressive, erratic, and often incoherent approach to international trade. The unilateral imposition of tariffs on a wide range of foreign goods has triggered a wave of swift and targeted retaliatory tariffs on American agricultural exports. China, which has historically been a vital and lucrative market for American sorghum, cotton, and soybeans, has responded by imposing a crushing 125% tax on these products. This has had the effect of completely shutting down a critical trade artery, leaving American farmers with a massive and unmanageable surplus of products and a shocking absence of buyers. This trade war is particularly damaging and cruel because it is happening mid-season, after farmers have already made their enormous financial investments in seeds, fertilizers, and expensive equipment. They cannot simply switch crops or pivot to new markets overnight, a reality that has led to crippling and, in some cases, total financial losses. Farmers feel, with ample justification, that they are being used as expendable pawns in a broader geopolitical game, with their very livelihood sacrificed for a broader and often opaque political agenda. The previous trade war in 2018-19 required a staggering $23 billion bailout to keep many farms afloat, and many fear the current situation is far more dire and will require an even larger intervention. The hollowing out of the agricultural safety net. The third, and perhaps most insidious, threat is the systematic and deliberate dismantling of the very federal support systems designed to help farmers in times of crisis. Crucial programs that farmers rely on for survival have been severely cut or eliminated entirely. This includes vital climate and conservation initiatives that help farmers reduce costs and improve the long-term health of their soil, as well as local food programs that provided stable domestic markets by connecting farmers to schools and food banks. The administration has also orchestrated a campaign of mass layoffs and buyouts at the USDA, the agency that is supposed to serve as a literal lifeline for rural communities. The hollowing out of local USDA field offices, which provide essential technical assistance, loans, and disaster relief, has created a massive and dangerous administrative vacuum. This means that even if a bailout is approved, the infrastructure required to distribute the aid quickly and efficiently has been critically and perhaps irreparably damaged. The loss of these resources is not just a financial hit. It's a profound betrayal of trust, leaving farmers feeling isolated, abandoned, and without the vital lifelines they have depended on for decades. An uncertain future and the perilous path to bailout. The consensus among agricultural experts, seasoned economists, and farmers themselves is that another bailout, likely to be of a historic scale, is not just a possibility, but is now an inevitable certainty. However, the path forward is fraught with immense and complex challenges. The previous gutting of the USDA means that distributing aid quickly and efficiently will be a monumental and likely chaotic task. Bureaucratic bottlenecks and a severe shortage of trained, experienced staff will almost certainly delay the arrival of funds, leaving many farms to face the specter of bankruptcy while they wait for assistance. Furthermore, the damage to America's reputation as a reliable and stable global trading partner is a long-term problem that will persist and cause harm long after the current trade disputes are theoretically resolved. Foreign buyers may understandably seek more stable and predictable sources for their agricultural products, leaving American farmers with a permanent and significant disadvantage in the global market. The current situation is far more precarious and complex than previous crises. The simultaneous pressures of extreme and unpredictable weather, wildly volatile prices, and a self-inflicted trade war, all combined with the systematic dismantling of the agricultural safety net, have created a perfect storm of unprecedented magnitude. The widespread anxiety and fear among the agricultural community is palpable and growing. The fear of a critical mass of farms going out of business, leading to a domino effect of economic failure, is no longer an abstract concept, but a looming and terrifying reality. The very future of American agriculture hangs in the balance, and without a swift, comprehensive, and well-executed response, the economic and social consequences for rural America could be devastating and truly irreversible. The United States finds itself at a critical juncture, facing a crisis that is more than just a momentary blip on the economic radar. It is an existential threat to a way of life that has defined the nation for centuries. The idyllic image of the independent family farmer, a cornerstone of American identity, is rapidly